Hey Delmarva, it's Lauren Hitch. Welcome to another Delmarva Live Facebook Live cooking show. We're in the Caribbean Holiday Kitchen with Ross Thompson. What's up, Ross?
Hey, how are you?
This is his second time here. It's not his first rodeo, okay? But you're with G.
I'm with G.
And it's just called G, but tell us, like, some people say G Rehoboth, G Restaurant.
Yeah, so I try to steer people away from saying G Rehoboth because then people assume that we have another location somewhere else, which we don't. So the name is literally just G. And it stands for the owner's last name. So we kind of like just try to steer people away from saying G Rehoboth, but it flows pretty well. You know what I mean?
It's the name of their Facebook page. So if you see us that we tagged it, it's because that's what it is. But it's just G.
It's just
and
G.
Where are you guys located in Rehoboth?
So we are located right on Rehoboth Avenue, 234 Rehoboth Avenue. We're kind of kitty corner from the convention center. Okay. Right across the street from Lupo and Hotel Rehoboth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we making today?
So today we are going to be making, this is on the menu by the way.
Okay,
so
cool.
This is our veggie risotto with seared scallops.
All right.
So I'm going to walk you through the whole step of making risotto. I'm going to try to speed it up just a little bit because usually risotto takes a super long time to make. So.
Now, for those who don't know, what is risotto?
Risotto is an Italian rice dish. It's made, right? Yeah, it's made with short grain rice. This is arborio rice. Okay. Any short grain rice will work, but people are now associating risotto with a specific type of rice, which is the arborio rice. Okay. So that's the rice we're going to use today.
Very cool.
So what we're going to do to
flavor, right? Vegetables and scallops.
Right here I have a squash stock that I made.
Okay.
So this dish can actually be totally vegan, but I'm going to add some cheese and stuff to it in cream today, so it's not vegan.
Now how did you make this, since that's already done?
So this squash stock, I use squash that my parents grow actually.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's a heirloom variety of squash, but it's very close to butternut squash. So we just say butternut squash.
Very cool.
You know, but it's basically just boiling squash with other vegetables for a very long time until you get the desired taste that you want.
And
so.
Does your family have a farm around here? Is that
They don't have a farm per se. I mean, it's a large garden. I would say that. You know,
and they let you use some of the
in Harbison.
That's
yeah, exactly.
Cool. Very neat. All right. So what should we do here?
All right. First, we should turn on the stove.
Okay.
So
Step one.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to make the risotto in here.
Okay.
So the first step, we are going to use some olive oil.
All right.
Generous helping of olive oil. So this recipe will be available, right?
Yeah.
For people to.
So right after the show today, we'll comment the recipe below so you guys can check it out. In fact, if you guys are tuning in, let us know where you're watching from. Just comment below. We'll give you a little shout out. If you've been to G, let us know too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You guys have been open for
it's 2 years now.
Years. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A couple years. That's awesome. Now, why should we put a good amount of oil? Is that important?
Yes. So the first step is to toast the rice, and also the rice is going to absorb a lot of this oil. If you don't put enough oil in, what happens is it ends up sticking and burning because as we're stirring the rice, it's releasing starch. And so if there's not enough oil and there's too much starch, then it's going to stick to the bottom and you're going to have a real mess on your hands.
We're not going to do that, even though if you've seen the show before, we have heard a lot of things. But we're going to try not to do that today. Hi, Virginia. Watching from. Oh, she's watching from a bed and breakfast in St. Michael's. That's cool. What a good Tuesday for you. I'm jealous.
So the first thing we're going to do before we put in the rice is we're going to put in garlic. And we're going to put in a little bit of shallots. You can use any type of onion that you like. Okay. I particularly like shallots because they're small and they're sweet, like a red onion.
Shallots are a little sweeter than an onion, right?
Yeah, and shallots you'll see more in like European cooking rather than American cooking, but these shallots are great. They taste really sweet. And you want to wait for the oil to kind of like come up to temp a little bit. When you see it start shimmering like that, then you know we're on the right track to starting to add the rice. So if you'd like to add the rice.
Yes, all of this?
Yes.
All right.
So the old school Italian grandmothers always use a wooden spoon, but I'm not old school or a grandmother, so I am using a spatula. So what you want to do when you're making risotto is you never want to stop stirring. You're going to keep stirring this until it's literally done.
And that's because you don't want it to stick, right?
Well, you don't want it to stick, and also the stirring helps release that starch, which makes it creamy. So a lot of times you'll see risotto that looks super creamy, and then people assume that there's cream in it.
Right.
There's no cream, usually. I mean, some people add cream, but it's just from stirring up the starch. So this is a good start to making risotto. The next step is you want to wait until it starts to brown on the edges of the rice. That
Okay.
way you know it's starting to toast the rice, and then we can start adding the stock.
So Virginia says she's the assistant innkeeper, so she's actually working today.
Nice.
But she is chilling at the bread and breakfast. She said she's making chocolate chip cookies and coffee panna cottas.
Panna cotta's nice. I like that.
Panna cottas, did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Let me just tell you guys that later we're going to be bringing out a dessert called flan, but it's spelled F-L-A-N, and I pronounced it flan earlier. Yeah, I got a little bit made fun of, just a little bit, by Laura.
Common mistake.
Running the cameras back there. Flan. But anyway, coffee panna cotta sounds delicious. Maybe you should come on and make some of those. That'd be fun.
You know what's funny is panna cotta is like the Italian version of flan, almost.
What? Yeah. Is that a Tuesday thing? We just make panna cotta and flan?
Apparently.
Thanks for tuning in, Virginia. Thanks for watching. We're starting with a vegetable risotto. If you guys are tuning in right now, be sure to comment below if you're watching, where you're watching from.
So now you see that
Oh,
it's
I see
starting
it.
to,
Yeah,
the
some of them
veggies
are
are
brown.
starting to get a little brown. The rice is starting to crisp a little bit. So next step, before the stock, you're going to add a little bit of white wine.
Okay.
Some people go crazy with the white wine, and it's a little too much.
Now,
But
white wine, is it like a special cooking wine or just any white
honestly,
wine?
people say that you should have like a cooking wine, but the other side of that is you would want to use a wine that you like to drink, because or that you like to use for
'Cause you
anything
probably
else.
taste it, right? I mean,
Because you
does the
taste
hints
it.
come through? Okay.
Yeah. So if you're using like a cheap wine that you really don't like,
You're gonna be like, this
you're
whole
gonna
dish
taste
is
that.
disgusting.
You're
We
gonna taste that in
destroyed
the flavor for sure.
Okay.
So now, after the wine has evaporated,
Okay.
which it looks like it has, we're going to start adding the stock, 1 cup at a time. This is a 8-ounce ladle, so I'm going to keep adding this,
Okay.
until it is absorbed. So
And 1 cup at a time.
1 cup at a time. So the important part is only add 1 cup at a time and wait until it evaporates and is absorbed into the rice. Because if you don't, what you're going to end up doing is boiling the short grain rice like long grain rice, and then it's going to turn out to be mush,
Okay.
basically. So we're going to let that evaporate a little bit before we add anything else to it.
Now, how much, is this like a serving size that we're making here?
What we're making is, it's a serving size for like maybe 4 or 5 people,
Okay.
So
a dinner.
Yeah, a dinner, exactly. I wanted to do that instead of showing like a single serving,
Yeah.
because hopefully you're going to make this for your family or something like that.
And
so.
plus, he's been here before, so he knows we eat a lot right after. But no, that's cool. And speaking of dinners, you guys have a murder mystery dinner coming up, right?
That is correct. So we have a murder mystery dinner coming up on Friday, actually. So it's a Halloween-themed murder mystery event. And if you're unfamiliar with murder mystery type things, people come in, they perform a play while the audience is eating, and they get served usually a 3 or 4 course meal. It's going to be a 3-course meal. So what we have done is we've come up with a menu that is spooky themed for Halloween, so to kind of go along with the theme of the play. So yeah, it's going to be good. Right now we have about like 20 some people that are already reserved for that, but we could definitely use some more. You can still get
Yeah.
tickets.
So if they want to get tickets.
Yeah, I would suggest going to the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or calling.
So I'll have a link to that too when I post the recipe. That way you guys can check out the murder mystery thing. I feel like that's popular this time of year, especially because of the whole Halloween spooky type thing.
Exactly.
So did you get to see the play beforehand? How did you know what to make?
So what happens is the murder mystery people, we're in contact with them. They tell us what they're doing for that month and things like that. So then I build a menu around
Around
it.
that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've done it before, and it's had several themes. We've done one that was like mafia theme, so I did Italian food.
That's cool.
Things like that. So it's kind of like a chance for me to do different things than we serve at G, which is nice, and it's good for people to come and see it and enjoy the show.
Dinner and entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. So
How
that's
can you
Friday
go wrong?
night. So we'll have a link to where you guys can get tickets if you want to check that out.
Also, I mean, we are doing specials at G, special nights. We are now only open Thursday through Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're closed. Wintertime hours, you know, that's what happens after the summer.
That's what happens, yeah.
Yeah, so Thursday is a very popular special night that we have. We do short rib night.
Okay.
And you're getting these short ribs for a very good price. And it's a lot of short rib and a lot of pasta. It's homemade pasta.
Okay.
I make this pasta every single day. It's tagliatelle pasta, braised short ribs with a garlic cream sauce. Super, like I said, super popular. So
And this is special every Thursday night.
every Thursday
Now,
night.
for your restaurant, do people have to get reservations, or they just
This-
walk off the street? Or
This time of year, I would say you don't really have to have reservations, but reservations are suggested.
right, because since you're only open for 4 days.
Exactly. In the summertime, I feel like reservations are mandatory.
Right.
Yeah, seriously. Fills up fast in there.
I'm sure. So, and you guys have other nights where there's a certain thing that's like on a special.
Yeah. So, you know, Sunday's a good one, you know, a half price bottle of wine, stuff like
okay.
that, you know. So,
It's pretty cool. And I
Yeah.
know you guys post that on your Facebook a lot. Like
yes,
things that you have coming up or certain
Yep.
nights.
Friday is another super popular one where it's we have happy hour all night at the bar.
All night.
Yeah, and the bar
Happy hours.
happy hours, yeah. We have a menu just for the bar.
Okay.
And people go crazy for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's simple stuff, but we make everything from scratch. So,
Oh, wow.
like the nachos, everybody loves the nachos,
yeah.
but we're frying our own tortillas, we're braising our
Right.
short ribs,
Probably
we're doing
just tastes
chicken.
that much more fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good.
All right, so to make this a vegetable risotto,
Okay.
we're going to be adding our vegetables. So, what I have here is I've chopped up some
Sour cream. No.
sour cream.
That's just the container.
This is what chefs use in the
Right.
kitchen to store things. So we have chopped up asparagus,
Okay.
chopped up broccolini, and then we have some artichoke right here, artichoke hearts that are quartered. So for this recipe, it's one bunch of each of the greens and a cup of the artichoke hearts. But I'm going to do a little bit less of the artichoke. And when you go to the store, and if you're buying a bunch of something, like a bunch of asparagus, a bunch can vary depending on the store, but I would suggest using that whole bunch for this because, I mean, that's the whole point of the vegetable risotto. You know what I mean? So,
So you're going to taste it more.
yeah, exactly. So now this is the part where we're letting it cook even more because the veggies are raw.
Okay.
So at the end, we're going to be adding salt and cheese, have that flavor in there, you know, because right now this doesn't have any sort of salty flavor. So it may seem very bland, but at the end is when you want to add your salt because if you add it now, it's going to reduce down and be salty,
Okay.
you know.
Now, you were saying that, you know, right now it's a vegan dish or vegetarian or whatever
Yeah,
until we add the cheese and stuff. So technically, could people stop at this point if
Correct.
they wanted a dish like that?
so I am a fan of vegan and vegetarian food. I think it's interesting to not use meat whatsoever or any sort of animal products.
And
So
try new like dishes with just vegetables and stuff. That's cool.
exactly, and people are very accepting of that because there's a large vegan and vegetarian community now. So this is completely vegan and vegetarian right now.
Right now.
Because you know our vegetable stock, there's no animal product in
Right.
it. There's no animal product in here. We're using olive oil instead of butter.
Okay.
But I will be adding butter to this later. But yeah, this can be a totally vegan dish
Yeah.
on its own. When it's finished, you don't add the cheese, you don't add the butter. You're obviously not going to add scallops.
Just add your salt and pepper at the end if you want.
Yeah, exactly. Just add salt and pepper. So, but this is a popular dish at G. We just changed the menu for fall and winter. So far, our super popular dishes are the scallops and our cauliflower steak, which is a vegan dish. So if you treat vegetables like you would meat, you can literally do anything with it. So we're slicing cauliflower into steaks, and then I'm scoring the top and the bottom of the steak, searing it in olive oil, garlic, and salt and pepper, and basting it as if I were
Wow.
cooking a steak. And then the base for that dish is this risotto, as it is now, without the other stuff in
That's
it.
very
So-
interesting. I've had my friend come on